Part 80. Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author, Shiyu Buletin Chigwa. Chapter 796. Thousands of meters in the air. The clouds gathered turbulently, and hurricanes hit the clouds, breaking the clouds into pieces. And in it? But there is a thick layer of clouds that lingers for a long time. The city lord's wife stood on top, overlooking the black spots below, and felt that everything seemed too small, and the whole world seemed to be just the two of them. She looked shy. I couldn't help feeling shy. After all, it didn't matter that she had tried the outdoor garden, but now, Shenjian took her to a vast sky. If she had sex here, it would be quite explosive in the entire explosion world. She even suspected that even if someone wanted to do this, they would be powerless. Even if two people are at the ghost level, they may not be able to last in the sky until the end. Only the little man in front of her has such ability. Shenjian was right. This incident will definitely be the most unforgettable thing in her life. What she will never forget in her life is only the love between her and this little enemy. Think of this. The wife of the city lord, Paininjian, looked at Shenjian charmingly, her eyes full of love, full of desire to be picked up by the king, but she refused to welcome him. At the slit of the skirt, in addition to a pair of slender legs, a certain piece of lace clothing can also be faintly seen. One can't help but want to explore its depth. No hesitation. Shenjian leaned over. Lip prints intertwined. The roaring hurricane not only failed to dispel the ambiguous atmosphere, but the wind helped the fire rise, causing the two bodies to boil more and more, and the temperature increased. Kindness. In fierce response. Their bodies seemed to blend into the clouds, showing complete coordination. One of them is a ghost, and their skin color is naturally several degrees lighter than that of humans. They are also female ghosts. When they take off their coats, what comes into view is naturally a complexion that borders on the white clouds. Some of them are different colors from the white clouds. The scenery is even more infinite. One person is a god, and with the increase of the 10 kings of hell, the hearts of ghosts and gods, the blood of ghosts and gods, the souls of ghosts and gods, the hands of ghosts and gods, etc., the physical body has already transitioned into the most perfect body of gods, whether it is limbs, bones and blood are already in proportion to immortals and gods. Not to mention that the whole body is like white jade and mutton fat, but it also has a perfect golden ratio, just like a masterpiece from heaven. Don't look. Paininjian, the wife of the city lord, put one hand in front of her body and the other hand below her, and turned her head to the side. Although she and Shenjian were already married, she was still very embarrassed to be watched like this. Shenjian said nothing. Instead, she uses actual actions to prove how attractive her posture is. In the billowing clouds. A figure keeps stirring the clouds. Every time it moved, the clouds moved forward a few meters. From Nanjiang district, it drifted all the way to Donglan district and then to Jiangbei district. Subsequently, a change of posture. The clouds began to drift in the opposite direction again. This day, players located in the Fengde Ghost City in the horror world, that is, in the southern region, all saw a demonic cloud that lingered for a long time, lingering within the 3 game areas, covering one area and providing shade and shade. Many players thought that it was Duo Yeyun is also a copy, so try to avoid standing under it. Faintly. They also seemed to see a ghost shadow surrounding something, looking down. Many players were so scared that they didn't even dare to look at it. For a long time. After the absurdity. The overnourished wife of the city lord, Paininjian, leaned in Shenjian's arms, savoring this rare tenderness. Subsequently, she took the initiative and asked, "How do you arrange the affairs of Nanjiang district, Donglan district, and Jiangbei district?" I can't do three things at once and help you handle the affairs of the three major game areas by myself. I will send the underworld agents to support you. All you need to do is to lead this group of underworld agents. You only need to set the tone. They will handle it on their own, and the results will be better than the law enforcement team, because they will definitely I am loyal to the underworld and will not make small moves in secret. Shenjian, the old Shinto. This was a plan that had been set long ago, but now the time has come. Then I will still stay at the Nanjiang City Lord's mansion. Peininjian snorted. Although Nanjiang district is the least well established of the three game areas in Fengde Ghost City, she likes it here. Here, there are memories of her and Shenjian. She doesn't want to move anywhere else. Just make your decision. In this case, Nanjiang district will be the core of Fengde Ghost Town in the future. The so-called core place is generally equivalent to the imperial capital of a country. Wherever you choose, it will be the key development center of the southern region in the future. Over time, Nanjiang district will slowly surpass Donglan district and Jiangbei district and become the strongest district in the southern region. At this point, Shenjian understands, and so does Peininjian. Seeing that Shenjian respected her wishes and gave priority to her thoughts, an intoxicating smile appeared on her face. Buried in Shenjian's arms, his two tender little hands hugged the man in front of him. As for Shenjian, he really didn't have any ideas. In his opinion, where he is the core of Fengde Ghost City, rather than where the core place is, which is the imperial capital. It was him first, and then there was the Fengde Ghost City. It was not the ghost town of Fengde that created him. Therefore, he didn't care at all. Not to mention, choosing Nanjiang district is indeed the best choice. Nanjiang district is the initial arrival location. More than 60% of the Dragon Kingdom people will start their lives as horror game players here. Setting up the core area here can protect the interests of the players to the greatest extent and prevent those people from being hasty. Die here. Instead, return to the real world and die. In this way, the underworld can justifiably arrest the soul and develop it into a ghost of the dead to serve the underworld. Think of this. Shenjian sighed. He really worried about the development of the underworld. He works earlier than a chicken, goes to bed later than a dog, and has to prevent the little bitchy from stealing his people from time to time. Too difficult. Soon. Shenjian thought of something again. He asked, during this period, please help me pay attention to the situation in the other three regions, especially those who are like me and have unified the managers of a large region, or the kind of relationship between several city lords that are irreconcilable and a strong alliance. Also recorded, I am useful. That Jiangbei city lord is not the person you are looking for. Here. Peininjian raised her head curiously. Shenjian shook his head and said, no, although the method of Jiangbei city lord's promotion to ghosts and gods is unknown, I already know the source. They are not the group of people I am looking for. I suspect that these people are hiding behind the scenes and have not shown up at all. However, with the rise of the southern region, if they are unified, sooner or later they will show their flaws. In his words, his tone was faint. According to Cleopatra, the Buddhist kingdom of Luo Fengtian in the fourth place has complete authority, and it is suspected that it did not split into incomplete individuals with the resurrection of the underworld. If this is the case, the lord of the Buddhist kingdom, who has full Luo Fengtian authority, can actually open the passage between the two realms at will, allowing his ghosts to enter the world of horror. Although the location of the two worlds passage is not in the southern region, no matter which large area it is in, it will affect the subsequent expansion of the underworld. He now hopes that the Lord of the Buddhist kingdom will open the passage between the two realms so that he can follow the passage and enter the fourth realm, Luo Fengtian. Otherwise, it would be troublesome to find the coordinates of the Buddhist country. For now, the only one he could rely on was Cleopatra. The other party made an oath with him, promising to use means to hand over the token to him after he returned, so that he could enter it smoothly. Calculate the time. It's been almost 4 months. Has he not returned to Luo Fengtian yet? Or are you in trouble and can't even give him a token? Shen Jian pondered. He did not doubt that Cleopatra was playing tricks on him. After all, the other party hated the horror game and was dissatisfied with what the Buddha kingdom had done. However, due to the overwhelming strength of the Buddha kingdom, he had to stay on one side. In this case, Cleopatra had no reason to abandon his powerful ally. Seeing Shen Jian's brows frowning slightly, the city lord's wife Paininjian did not interrupt, but began to think about how to help this little enemy quickly find his target. Time flies. Farewell to the city lord's wife. Shen Jian returns to the real world. I learned from the Qingxi city god that there has been a crazy influx of foreigners in Qingxi these days, and I am looking for the person in charge of Qingxi everywhere. Many people even left their cities on the spot, settled in Qingxi, and spent 8,000 horror coins just to get a place to join the King of Yamafan's support club. It is said the starting price of a quota is already as high as 18,000 thriller coins, which is still a price but no market. And hear the words. Shen Jian looked strange. Nearly 20,000 thriller coins are needed to buy a place. This is a number that can cost a player a lot of money. If you want to save 20,000 horror coins, you have to be a top 4-star player. For ordinary players below 4 stars, you can barely get a guarantee by entering a dungeon, and you have to buy various life-saving supernatural props. If you want to save horror coins, it is difficult. Like ascending to heaven. Even a top 4-star player who spends 20,000 horror coins at once would still have to work hard to get back to before liberation. This. Just to buy a place to join the fan club. Shen Jian clicked his tongue. How could he not know that his reputation was already worth so much money? Do I need to stop it? Don't worry about it, it's a trivial matter, but you can talk to the members of this support club and offer the #1 drug as a condition for them to work for the underworld. Shen Jian waved his hand. Didn't pay much attention to this matter. In the few days in the horror world, he has basically taken care of the trivial matters. It would take some time for Jifu Yunzhe to officially take over the 3 major game areas. Taking advantage of this time, he felt that it was necessary to add another talent training base to Jifu. Then completely unlock the path of Azura, one of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author, Shi Yu Buletin Chi Gua. Chapter 797. Infinite Hell. Shen Jian came to the 6 paths of reincarnation and looked at the 6 whirlpool-like passages of reincarnation. There are 4 whirlpools that are already in an unsealed state, with invisible ripples. They are the human realm, the hell realm, the animal realm, and the evil ghost realm. What remains are the Azura path and the God path. The conditions for unlocking the celestial path are unknown. The unlocking condition for the Azura path is to completely recover the 3 Luo Fengtian permissions. So far, he already has 2 parts of Luo Fengtian in his hands, and with the last one left, he can successfully unlock the next reincarnation. Shen Jian's eyes moved. There was a little wave in his eyes. Because he knew that the unlocking of the Azura path would be a qualitative change. After all, he is already the complete body of the 10 palaces of hell, and there is no existence in the underworld with a higher personality than him. Apart from the next reward of the system being related to Emperor Fengdu, he could not think of anything else that could be used as a reward for him to unlock the Azura path. In his opinion, one of the last 2 reincarnations, the Azura path and the God path, must directly inherit the status of Emperor Fengdu. At that time, he will be the real lord of the underworld. There is no dispute and no one can refute it. Think of this. Even if it was Shen Jian, he couldn't help but look forward to it. He returned to the palace of Yama. Start thinking about this next place for Luo Fengtian. That is Zhongfei Kailing Heavenly Palace. Here Luo Fengtian is located in the advancement place for players from the Western continent. The opening location is located in the western or northern region of the horror world. It is a deep ghost realm unique to Western players. It is governed by a super-large supernatural place called the Ila Empire, with royal power and divine power within it. The royal power holds half of Luo Fengtian's authority, which is kept by the royal family of the Eli Empire. The divine power also holds part of it, which is kept by the Elim temple established by the brilliant ghost god. And in his hands, Luo Fengtian, who happened to have half of the divine power, was handed over to him by the glorious ghost and god himself. In other words, he only needs to get the share from the royal family of the Eli Empire to have complete access to the Zhongfei Seven Spirits Heavenly Palace. Shen Jian pondered for a moment. He also remembered that when he entered the Qing Kingdom dungeon for the second time, he had asked the glorious ghosts and gods to go to the royal family of the Eli Empire to negotiate. Counting the time, it was time for the glorious ghosts and gods to return from Luo Fengtian, the fifth place. It seems that I need to find an opportunity to ask about the situation first. Real world. Shen Jian is already preparing to find another talent training base for the underworld. At this time, the phone rings. Caller ID, Jian Quan. Shen Jian raised his eyebrows. The call was answered. Jian Quan's voice was filled with excitement and deep sadness. Mr. Shen, do you have time? We have something we want to talk to you about. Not long after, Shen Jian appeared at Daxia Longke headquarters. A conference room that only accommodates less than 10 people. The 10 provincial leaders with the highest status representing the Daxia Longke headquarters suddenly stood up and looked at Shen Jian, who suddenly appeared in the conference room with burning eyes. The youngest among them is also about 50 years old. He is already at an age where he already knows his destiny. But at this moment, the admiration in their eyes was as pure as that of teenagers. Anyone who can sit here is not a treasure of the Dragon Kingdom. He is an existence that can make the Dragon Kingdom tremble 3 times with just a stamp of his feet. There is no secret in the Dragon Kingdom that they can hide at the moment. Regarding Shen Jian's true identity, they all know it. Even though Shen Jian has never admitted it publicly. Because of this, they dare not be careless and maintain the highest level of enthusiasm. Shen Jian nodded slightly. Then he looked at Jian Quan and said, "Tell me, what's the matter?" Jian Quan took out a statue. It is about the size of a palm, and is carved with a figure with gills, a trident in his hand, blue skin, and a crown on his head. Especially his eyes, which are vaguely alive, as if there are signs of life and will stare at people. Look. If you stare at it for a long time, you may even feel that the statue is moving. It gives people a very permeable feeling. This is Poseidon, the god of the sea. Shen Jian was slightly surprised. At first glance, this statue is not a product on the assembly line, but a perfect work that has been carefully carved and cost a lot of manpower to copy. The overall tone is extremely harmonious. And he could also feel a faint wave of faith from this statue. How come? Shen Jian asked curiously. Jian Quan smiled bitterly. It came from the Western Holy See organization. Based on the information collected at the base of the Fallen Angel organization, we have reason to suspect that the Western Holy See organization is restarting this experiment and artificially creating the Western world believe in ghosts and gods. According to our investigation, in addition to Poseidon, the god of the sea, there are also statues of the sun god Apollo, the god of war and goddess Athena, the god King Zeus and other gods in Western history that are rapidly spreading throughout the Western world. Hear the words. Shen Jian was thoughtful. If you want to create a species like angels, ghosts, and gods, besides faith, the most important thing is the body of ghosts and gods. Without ghosts and gods as the final medium, No matter how hard these people try, it is impossible to truly create a god of faith with the help of pure faith. After all, if this could be done, the Dragon Kingdom would have been able to give birth to the god of incense and fire long ago with its large population. The body of ghosts and gods is the key to everything. The Western Holy See has opened the passage to the deep ghost realm earlier than the Dragon Kingdom, and is actively accepting horror games to come to reality. It is really possible for them to find the bodies of some ghosts and gods and create ghosts and gods of faith. But isn't this a good thing? Shen Jian's expression narrowed slightly. There was a hint of weirdness in his eyes. He really hopes that the Western Holy See will continue to spend time on these things. It is best to put all hope on it, so that it can delay the Western world's idea of invading the Eastern world and wait for the underworld to grow stronger and swallow the entire West at once. What's more, the more we delve into high-end combat power, the greater the hope placed on it. If the hope is shattered by then, the blow will be enough to bring the Western Holy See to its knees. No matter how you look at it, this is a good thing. Thoughts are spinning. Shen Jian withdrew his gaze. He said calmly, "What do you want to ask?" Qian Quan took a deep breath. "Mr. Shen, I want to know if the angels, ghosts, and gods created by the fallen angel organization can be reproduced." Under everyone's gaze, Shen Jian nodded slowly. "Indeed." Hear this. The faces of everyone present darkened. The atmosphere fell into an eerie silence. Man-made replicas of ghosts and gods are not a miracle, but can be mass-produced. What kind of taboo method did the original fallen angel organization create? Its significance is almost as great as publishing the manufacturing process of nuclear weapons. How is it possible? Has the Holy See organization developed some new method? Otherwise, this experiment has no chance of success. An old man muttered. Shen Jian asked curiously, "Have you tried it too?" Qian Quan laughed sarcastically, "Mr. Shen, we did organize personnel to restructure, but in the end they all failed. In our original idea, how to control this ghost-believing statue was the biggest problem, but the reality is that, we simply don't have the conditions to create beliefs in ghosts and gods." He did not say that they actually tried to make the king of hell believe in ghosts and gods. Not only the king of hell, but also all the gods and Buddhas in the sky, as small as the earth god, as big as the Haoshan god, and the 3 pure and 4 emperors, they have tried it. With the huge population of Dragon Kingdom, faith is really not difficult. No matter how small an immortal god is, there will still be a large number of believers. Unfortunately, they all failed. Shen Jian looked strange and said, "There is no foundation for becoming a god of fire in this world. Of course you will fail. If you want to succeed, the most important thing is the body of ghosts and gods. What are you thinking about using the swords of the previous dynasty to create the gods of this dynasty?" said. He shook his head. The so-called belief in gods is nothing more than a group of ghosts with empty names but no supernatural powers. No matter how lifelike they look, fakes are always fakes. Even if a Haoshan god is really created, it will only be a ghost with the appearance of Haoshan god. Its strength depends entirely on the terror level of the ghost's body during life and the amount of fear and negative emotions harvested. It has nothing to do with immortals at all. Certainly. This is also related to the tone of this world. As he said, this world and this era no longer have the soil for the birth of the god of incense. If you want to create gods, you have to be more or less contaminated with the attributes of ghosts. This is inevitable. Qian Quan and others were silent. This is the first time they have heard this statement. But they had to believe it. Because the man standing in front of them was the first resurrected god in this world. If he says no, that means no. His words represent authority. But soon, Qian Quan came to his senses. "Mr. Shen, according to you, if creating a god of faith requires a part of the body of ghosts and gods, then the Western Holy See will throw out so many statues of faith? They must have also experimented with this. It's the right way. How many? Shen Jian asked. 12, all 12 main gods of the West have been found. According to this calculation, the Holy See organization needs to prepare at least 4 ghost and god bodies to be able to create so many religious ghosts and gods. Shen Jian was very interested. Really? Even if players from the Western continent make faster progress in the horror world than Dragon Kingdom, they cannot obtain 4 ghost and god bodies with the power of 5-star players. Look at it this way. Is it possible that this Holy See organization has something to do with the royal family of the Eli Empire? Only the royal family has the resources to fund the Holy See. Only. Why would a human papal organization allow the royal family, which controls half of Luo Fengtian's authority, to make such a large investment? Think of this. The interest in Shen Jian's eyes became even stronger. Don't worry, they can't cross the border. If they make more noise, I will send people to shoot them to death. Shen Jian grinned. He did not hide the mysterious smile in his eyes at all. When he said this, it was as simple as slapping an ant to death. But everyone present knew that this person was qualified to say this. His name is the best proof. The words fell. Shen Jian disappeared into the conference room. The Western world's torment was not what he expected. But what he wants to recover next is the lifeblood of the Western Holy See. He wanted to see how the Western Holy See would react when they found out that he was the owner of Luo Fengtian. Immediately, Shen Jian's eyes fell on the game panel. He has the permission to enter the horror game and can enter all copies he has ever entered, including the Eli Empire. It has been detected that the player has used administrator rights and is searching for the save point. The search has been successful. Coordinates have been located. Players are about to enter Olympus. The copy has been loaded. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author, Shi Yu Buletin Chigua. Chapter 798. Scarlet panel floats. The copy has been anchored. It is detected that the player is wearing the title of Dungeon Collapser, and the game becomes more difficult. If a player is detected wearing the title Ghost Seeing Sorrow, the copy will have a certain chance of mutating. It is detected that the player is wearing the title of Dungeon Terminator, the initial character panel will be improved, and if the plot mission points are destroyed, the dungeon blessing will be obtained. It was detected that the player has 25% of the permissions of the thriller game. He is one of the final heirs of the thriller game. His initial status is improved and he is superior to others. The copy is loading. You have completed the match. Copy, Bloody Battle for the King. Content: the royal family of the Eli Empire has a hereditary inheritance system. It has made a contract with the 4 major duke families. If the royal heir is incompetent, the 4 major duke families have the right to make a divine judgment to abolish the heir's position and establish a new king. It is cruel. Royal trials have created the ruthlessness of each generation of royal heirs. Number of players, 50. Main mission: hide your identity and climb as high as possible. Side mission: task tip: hiding in the dark is your only protection. Difficulty: 5-star upgrade. Warn. Serious warning. It is detected that the current copy has entered a superior existence, the balance of the game is broken, and the rules of the game are changed. The balance has been filled. Initial players are granted the hard work will be rewarded permission. The current copy is in team mode, but the player's identity is not disclosed. Note: names have been blocked in the chat interface. Note: the royal family of the Eli Empire does not like humans, and the consequences of being discovered will be serious. Note: this copy does not require lineup confrontation. Note, both players can reopen their names if they wish. As the scarlet panels flashed one by one, the players who were entering the dungeon felt a sense of panic. This is the first time that a thriller game has prompted so many precautions before the game starts. This is enough to explain. Thriller Games believes that the possibility of them clearing the dungeon is very slim. Without giving so many reminders in advance, players may not even have a chance to survive. Besides, what the hell is this superior being? Since when did thriller games engage in this kind of privileged relationship? Did this being save your whole family? Need something special? Have you ever asked us if this is fair? With such surprise and doubt, all the players were stunned. The other side. Shen Jian watched all this with interest. I have a lot of skills in horror games. Everyone began to say that he destroyed the balance of the game and increased the chips for other players. Interesting. Is this a bug fix because he became the ultimate heir to the thriller game, or is it human intervention? Just thinking about it. The scarlet panel in front of Shen Jian continued to appear. The player is detected as the King of the South and modified rules have been loaded. Privilege: when entering the dungeon, you can choose your identity according to the evaluation criteria. It has been detected that the player's previous copy evaluation was SS+. Currently, the player can choose an initial identity: Marquis Personal Bodyguard, Marquis House Butler. Shen Jian frowned. These two identities seem to have nothing to do with being superior. Soon, Shen Jian knew it. The next second. Detection of player wearing Dungeon Terminator, one of the final heirs of the thriller game. The identity has been optimized. Current identity: the fourth prince of the Eli Empire royal family. As the scarlet panel flashed by, the scene in front of him has undergone earth-shaking changes. Shen Jian opened his eyes. What comes into view is the ceiling above. As for himself, he was lying on the bed, wearing a nightgown. Glancing out of the corner of his eye, he could just see his long golden hair. Shen Jian? He looked slightly stunned. Get up. Come to the dressing mirror. The self in the mirror still looks the same, but her short black hair has changed into long blonde hair that hangs down to her shoulders. Under the sunlight, it shines with noble colors. Shen Jian's eyes became strange. Am I turning yellow? Glancing at the game panel again, Shen Jian's eyes especially lingered on the last column. Current identity: the fourth prince of the Eli Empire royal family. Okay. The title of the ultimate heir to the thriller game is indeed not false. To say it is superior to others is to be superior to others. Wrong. This should be said to be already higher than the sky. To know. He received an unprecedented SS and rating in the last dungeon. However, even so, his initial status was only as a staff member of the Marquis Mansion. If it were another player, he might not even have a chance to work in the Viscount's mansion and would have to become a refugee, let alone get close to the royal family of the Eli Empire. And with the blessing of the title, he actually surpassed the status of the Duke's palace and royal staff, and directly became the fourth prince of the royal family. Shen Jian was a little stunned. This was really beyond his expectation. After entering so many dungeons, this was the first time that his initial status was surprisingly high. Even the second time he entered the Qingguo dungeon, he had never received such a great status blessing. Just thinking about it? Click. There was a sound of glass products falling to the ground. Your Highness, you finally wake up. A voice of surprise came from the other party's mouth. Shen Jian looked around. Outside the palace, a female ghost dressed as a maid was shouting in surprise. I'll inform the clerk. Finished. The ghost maid turned around and ran away in a hurry. Etc. Shen Jian called to the other party to stop. He took out a ghost heart from his body, and at the same time, the words of ghosts and gods spread out, hypnotically saying, "Tell me, what exactly happened to me?" From the words of the little maid, he could clearly hear that he did not just wake up in bed, but fell into a coma. The ghost maid's eyes were in a trance. He immediately explained, "Your Highness, you have forgotten that you have been in a coma for half a month. People outside say that the supernatural fluctuations in your body are dissipating rapidly and you have fallen into a short sleep. You are not far from death." Shen Jian frowned. "I see. This identity has its pitfalls. And this fourth prince should be completely dead, so the effect of his title allows him to replace this identity. Became the fourth prince of the Eli Empire. Otherwise, even the title of the ultimate heir to thriller games would not be able to obtain such privileges in one Luo Fengtian. The love is already there. He's taking over." Shen Jian understood and continued to ask, "Tell me more carefully, what happened before I fell into coma?" The ghost maid was still explaining, "Your Highness, on your way to win over Erlano, you slipped and fell off the cliff and fell into a coma. Because you were missing, the territory was in chaos. Your secretary is helping you deal with this. Everything, and we have planned to put you into a short sleep and prepare to withdraw from the trial of the king, so that your Highness can return to the royal family and receive the best treatment." For a long time, Shen Jian's eyes narrowed. "I took back my ghost heart." The ghost maid seemed to have lost her previous memory, and turned around in a panic to report the news to the clerk. Shen Jian didn't stop him. From the ghost maid's words, he barely understood the current situation. He currently does not live in the royal city of the Eli Empire, but came to a sleepy border town and became the lord here. The cause of all this is naturally the Bloody King trial described on the game panel. In the king's trial, based on the performance of the princes, the royal family selects a territory and allows them to develop freely. 5 years later, a representative of the royal family personally leads a team to conduct a survey and selects the prince with the best development in the territory to become the heir to the throne. Only the prince selected in this way can meet the standards of the king of the Eli Empire and will not be deposed by the 4 major duke families. The fourth prince is such a prince who was sent to a border town. Just half a month ago, the fourth prince was preparing to win over the largest aristocratic force here, that is, Erlano. On the way, he unfortunately fell off a cliff and fell into a severe coma. He has been sleeping until now. Shen Jian clicked his tongue. From what the ghost maid said, this fourth prince is not a good guy. Although he is the fourth prince of the royal family, his lifelong fear level is only that of a ghost king. He is considered to be the ultimate trash. In the royal city, he is still a guy who cannot hold up a wall because of mud. He uses his power to bully others and commits all kinds of evil. Because of this, he was sent to this border town to help the poor. Apparently, even no one in the royal family thought that the fourth prince could achieve anything, so they specifically chose a territory for poverty relief because they were afraid that the territory would become chaotic because of the absurdity of the fourth prince. On this basis, the royal family also specially sent a secretary here because they were worried that the fourth prince was ignorant and unskilled and would harm the people here. The role of this clerk, in addition to supervising the fourth prince, is also to help him deal with his mess. And once the secretary reported his unconsciousness and received approval to return to the royal city for treatment, it meant that he automatically withdrew from the king's trial. He also loses the qualification to become the heir to the throne. At this time, the scarlet panel pulsed again. Side mission has been activated. Side mission, prove yourself. Content, the player's location is part of the territory of the Bloody King trial, and the ultimate goal is to participate in the King trial. Task requirement, make a splash and push your current identity one step forward. Time limit, 30 days. Note, use your authority flexibly and try boldly, Oli gives it to you. Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author, Shi Buletin Chigua. Chapter 799. As the scarlet panel flashed by, The chat interface suddenly became lively. XXX, Omega, have you tried this? Hard work will pay off. Permission, so cool, how could a thriller game give such a powerful buff? In the interface, a player left a message. But as thriller game reminds you, there is no game ID displayed on it, and you can't see other people's game levels. Even when they are face to face, the two parties don't know that each other is a player. Unless the two people know each other personally, this is the same as single player mode. However, the mission tips of the thriller game say that this is a team mode. Apparently, how to find the existence of possible players, or establish an alliance, or expose them and eliminate them, are all part of the contents of this copy. And, according to the content of the main mission, the bloody battle for the king is obviously the core. If they want to quickly complete their status promotion and become the final winner, they cannot avoid this royal trial. Only, no one knows the specific situation at the moment, and what kind of process the so-called bloody battle for the king will be. They are all still in a state of partial knowledge, and they are all dormant and collecting intelligence. Among them, the player's exclusive chat interface is the largest source of intelligence collection. At this point, everyone present can think of it. Then, without revealing their identity, all players appeared to be quite active. XXX, like, I just tried it. This authority is so awesome. I swung the sword a few times and actually gained a little proficiency. It also shows that my swordsmanship progress has reached level 3, which is just short of level 4. 10,000 proficiency levels. According to this progress, I will definitely be able to practice swordsmanship to level 4 within a month. This is the strength that only a swordsman master like my master can possess. I didn't expect that I would be able to achieve it in my lifetime. All players who witnessed the chat interface had a preliminary impression of this person. He has a straightforward personality, and his career in the real world seems to be related to kendo. He also has good practical skills and is a strong opponent. The other players started checking their professions. Also try various actions. The more I try, the more I feel that this hard work pays off. Permission is simply a bug. Whether it is sword practice, punching, sit ups, or running, it can increase their proficiency to a certain extent. Once the proficiency reaches the standard, their strength, speed, and physical fitness will be significantly improved. Especially various vocational skills, such as swordsmanship, painting, welding, and even weeding, once they are improved, the increase will be no less than the improvement from amateur to professional level. This is so unbelievable. If they stay here for 3 to 5 years and develop various skills, strength, and speed to an inhuman level, wouldn't they become little supermen? How could a thriller game become so generous? This is like taking out all the underpants that are hidden under the suitcase. They are no different from plugins and cheats. After a while, a piece of news caught everyone's attention. Adolf, everyone, we are in danger. To prove that I am not an alarmist, I will reveal my identity. See this. Many players were startled. Adolf. Isn't this the 5-star white player from the Holy See? It's true, it's really him. I didn't expect that we would be a copy of him. What do you mean? Don't thriller games allow us to hide our identities? Why is this exposed? A group of white and black players were in an uproar. Even in the Western world, 5-star players are still rare. They didn't expect that they would meet one here. Sam, hey, I understand what you mean. I'll blow myself up too. The credibility will be higher. Again. The players exclaimed. Another 5-star player. They remember it seemed like it was a black player. Now, 2 5-star players revealed their secrets. What is going on? Adolf, I'll make a long story short, this hard work will reward you. Permission is indeed a bug, but don't forget, this is the compensation given to us by Thriller Game for someone who destroyed the balance of the game. In other words, the addition of that existence makes Thriller Game thinking that we have no chance of winning. This gives us added protection. A mansion somewhere. A white player with brown hair, blue eyes, thick stubble on his temples, one long leg and one short leg, explained with a solemn expression. Adolf, think about it, how terrifying this person must be to make horror game think that 49 of us have no chance of winning, and even give us separate access to plugins. Even the most powerful person in the Holy See does not have this qualification. Following his words, all the players who were watching the chat records fell into deep thought. Then his face changed drastically. Really? This is so abnormal. Even the first player in the Holy See organization to be promoted to 5 stars does not have such an honor. So who is this superior being? The only people who can be pulled into the copy by the thriller game are players. But isn't the strongest player in the country the one from the Holy See? For a while, suspicion hangs in everyone's mind. Sam, hey, that was before. Now the thriller game gives us the guarantee to defeat that person, but the time is limited, and we can't compete with each other in a short time, so we need to join forces no matter who that person is. As long as we join forces together, he definitely can't win. Cotton Field. A black player with dark skin and big white teeth issued an invitation. Under the rough skin, there was a protective layer like human skin. Adolf, yes, you should all have heard of us. We are all 5-star players of the Holy See. Our credibility is guaranteed. We need to unite to fight against that person. If you have ideas, you can go to the Viscount Mansion here. Look for me. My identity is the son of the housekeeper of Hanfin Ridge Viscount Mansion. I can temporarily provide you with a base. Finished. The other party sent a positioning message, full of sincerity. Hell, 5-star players are treated very well. The opening scene is the Viscount's mansion, and I'm still sweeping the floor on the street. It can't be compared. Now I am just working as a gardener under a down-and-out nobleman who has even been deprived of his title. Damn it, are you showing off? I have become a local beggar and am being driven out of my territory by other ghost beggars. I can't even afford a meal. I'm so lucky. I'm not far from the Cold Wind Ridge. I'll go there now. Among players, some people are watching and some are taking action. At the same time, Shen Jian looked at the scene thoughtfully. This is a deep ghost land belonging to Western players. They are all black and white. Players are normal. He estimated that among the 49 players, it was lucky to have 1 or 2 Chinese, so he had no idea about forming a team. And he also can't form a team. The effect of the Dungeon Terminator title requires the player to be alone to take effect. Certainly. This is just a small episode. What interests him most is the hard work will pay off permissions that this group of Western players call. It sounds like this is similar to the so-called proficiency panel. Just work hard and you will see yourself making progress. As players said, this is indeed a bug ability. As long as you can see the progress bar, anyone can persevere in anything they do. If things go on like this, we will definitely be able to cultivate a group of humans who can break the limits of the human body. Do thriller games still have this ability? A flash of surprise flashed in Shen Jian's eyes. For now, he only got a favorability panel from the thriller game. Although this proficiency panel is of little use to him, it is a good thing and everyone wants to collect it. He is also included. I don't know if this proficiency panel can also be loaded after clearing this copy. As for the threat from this group of players, Shen Jian didn't pay much attention. Because his normal attributes are far beyond those of humans. The ultimate strength and speed of a normal human being is 10 points. 4-star and 5-star players will also see a significant improvement in strength and speed under the supernatural influence of the ghost, but it will not exceed 30 points at most. And Shen Jian glanced at the panel. Strength, 531, normal human limit is 10. Speed, 531. Yin Qi, 2,700,000. At this time, there was a sound of rapid footsteps. Shen Jian looked up. Look away. Outside the dormitory, a figure like an elf in the water stepped forward, with blue eyes as deep and charming as the ocean. Wearing a smart and tight-fitting men's clothing, her well-proportioned and tall body curves are fully highlighted. Her soft ice blue curly hair is tied behind her back, revealing a pair of exquisite and knowledgeable facial features and temperament, with an unforgettable look. Unique charm. Shen Jian's eyes flashed. Ghost Scribe Kali Till. Level, Abyss Level Ghost King. Introduction, the daughter of the old Duke of the Kali family, one of the four holy families of the Eli Empire. Her brother is the new Duke of the Kali family. Together with her brother, they are called the Kali twins after her brother succeeded to the position of Duke, voluntarily entered the royal family and became a clerk to record history later. He was appointed as the nanny of the fourth prince and was biased against the fourth prince. Current status, relax, review, alert. Favorability, -30, dislike. Looking at the introduction on the favorability panel, something strange appeared in Shen Jian's eyes. The Kali family, isn't this the family of Duke Kali who likes Ghost Duke Hillis? He still remembered that when he lived in the Ghost Duke's mansion for a period of time, the Duke of Kali came to the door and listened to the massage sound downstairs for a period of time. He became so angry that he left in a helpless and furious manner. Did not expect. His secretary turned out to be the sister of Duke Kali. What a coincidence. Your Highness, you finally woke up. I wrote a letter of advice to the royal family. Now that you are awake, it is up to you to decide whether to send it out. However, I suggest that it is better for you to return to the royal city, Your Highness. Ghost Clerk Kali Tir's voice was neither salty nor cold, without any emotion. Shen Jian could even see a hint of disgust and contempt in his eyes. But this is normal. Because Shen Jian learned that the reason why the Duke of Kali's sister became his secretary was also due to him. It was because he forced a female secretary to accompany him, and that's why he chose her. And the other party's identity qualifies him to despise the fourth prince. After all, although the fourth prince belongs to the royal family, he has nothing. However, Kali Tir is one of the twin stars of the Kali family, and his elder brother is the current Duke of Kali. He is a head above the fourth prince in terms of status and status. The reason why I came here was just because I didn't want to worsen the relationship between the Kali family and the royal family. Especially when he came to the territory, he continued to perpetuate Wang Qing's absurd style, paying no attention to the development of the territory, and it was normal for him not to have any favorable impressions. Shen Jian clicked his tongue. It is rare to see the dislike stage favorability without any hatred. It seems the fourth prince was really bad in the eyes of the other party. Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author, Shi Yubuletin Chigua. Chapter 800. Inside the castle bedroom. Kali Till, dressed in smart-waisted men's clothing, walked dignifiedly down the aisle, holding a book in her hands, looking extremely knowledgeable. Her body proportions were excellent, and the close-fitting men's clothing highlighted every part of her body. Ups and downs everywhere, weaving into addictive curves. The sapphire necklace on her chest, her cerulean blue eyes, and her icy blue curly hair make her look like the daughter of the ocean. Even the most ordinary men's clothing worn on her still reveals the unique nobility of a top noble. Temperament. Make it look like not just a cheap item bought casually, but a privately customized high-end men's clothing. She went all the way to the top of the castle, and in the prince's exclusive bedroom, she met the fourth prince who had been in a coma for half a month. The fourth prince was leaning on the sofa, with a high nose and handsome and strong facial features. His golden shoulder-length hair, as dazzling as the sun, was casually scattered on his shoulders. Under the sunlight, he was like the incarnation of the sun. With blonde hair and golden eyes, she almost perfectly inherited the characteristics of the royal family members. When walking on the road, the rate of turning heads is 100%. One look can capture the heart of a little girl. Unfortunately, this face appears on the body of a dandy. Blind in vain. With this thought, Kali Tir picked up the letter in his hand with some disappointment and said in a cold tone, "Your Highness, do you want to continue to stay here? Or do you plan to return to the royal city?" There was no trace of respect in her tone. The relationship between the two is not like a subordinate and a prince, but a lord and a lord. She despised the fourth prince. If she didn't want to maintain a trace of sincerity to the royal family, she would even want to slap the letter directly on the fourth prince's face. As for fear, she wasn't. This is an honor given to her by the Kali family, one of the four holy families of the Eli Empire. The other side. Shen Jian also narrowed his eyes. "Think about it," she said with great interest. "Ms. Tir, what do you think I should choose?" "Me? My opinion is to return, otherwise." The ghost scribe Kali Tir's words stopped abruptly, as if he didn't know what to say or not. The next second, Shen Jian spoke up for her. "Otherwise, like the slip-up incident half a month ago, it is likely to happen again, right?" "Ghost clerk?" She was a little startled. The translucent red lips were slightly open. A trace of suspicion flashed in his eyes. "It seems to be saying, you, a dandy who starts to indulge when you come to the territory, can also guess the truth behind this? See this?" Shen Jian's lips curled up. He said casually, "Is there anything hard to guess? No matter how bad I am still a majestic ghost king. How could I be in a coma for half a month because of a slip? There must be someone behind this, so they didn't choose to kill me directly. I'm just worried that if a prince dies in his own territory, it will trigger a royal investigation." "Ghost clerk?" The surprise in her eyes deepened. "What? Is this the ignorant fourth prince? It doesn't look like it. It has been nearly 2 years since she came to the territory, and she has never seen the fourth prince doing anything serious. If there are any problems on weekdays, she will deal with them throughout the process." In her eyes, the fourth prince did nothing but play all day long, exactly like the image she had heard in the royal city. But today, why did she feel that the fourth prince seemed to be a different person? There was a long silence. The ghost secretary closed the door to the dormitory. He said in a strange tone, "Since your highness knows, you should understand that this kind of thing will not happen just once. Once the news of your awakening spreads, there will be a second attack soon. By then, the enemy his methods will become more and more cruel until you are completely stunned." Shen Jian was non-committal. He asked, "Have you found out which of my royal brothers and sisters did it?" Ghost scribe Kali Til. She felt more and more that something was not right with the fourth prince in front of her. Not only was he no longer as carefree as usual, but he also showed extremely keen insight and a calm personality. This would never happen to the fourth prince. Is it possible that after being comatose for half a month, I can still wake up? Or the fourth prince has actually been pretending? The thought came to mind. Kali Tir was shocked. No ghost can suddenly change his personality, unless he is already like this. So, the fourth prince has now taken off his disguise. Why? Was it because of the fratricidal royal family that made him figure out something? Brainstorming. The ghost scribe suppressed this outrageous thought for the time being, and then said, "It is still unknown. I have been to the cliff where you fell to check, but I did not find any clues. Moreover, all the attendants you brought with you have died, and there is no evidence of their death. Speaking of which," she glanced at Shen Jian hesitantly, "Your Highness, how did you know that it was other princes and princesses who attacked you? Other than them, who else dares to attack one of my princes? The king's trial depends not only on the ability to manage the territory, but also on eliminating the opponent. It is also a good choice. And my overall strength is the weakest. If you don't pick me, I will not be picked. Who can I choose? Shen Jian raised his eyebrows. Although this is his speculation, it is basically close to 10. Killing a prince within Luo Fengtian was something that even ghosts and gods would not dare to do. The coma, allowing the opponent to be eliminated voluntarily, became the main theme. As the fourth prince was the softest persimmon, he naturally became the fastest target. But it doesn't matter. I'm awake now. Others must have known about it. Next, it depends on who can lose their composure first and attack me. Shen Jian grinned. The main mission of the dungeon here is very vague. It only said to climb up, but did not give a specific settlement time. In other words, this is a long-term task, and the node for the settlement of the task should be the end of the king trial. Determine the candidate for crown prince. From what he learned, the fourth prince was sent here for nearly 2 years, and the trial for the king would last for 5 years. In other words, players need to stay here for more than 3 years. At this point, Shen Jian couldn't accept it. 3 years is enough for the underworld to annex the entire real world and occupy the horror world. He doesn't need to spend so much effort on a copy. And don't forget, the purpose of his coming here is to reclaim half of Luo Fengtian's authority from the royal family of the Eli Empire. If he follows the normal progress, he may not be able to get it in 30 years, let alone 3 years. That being the case, then his goal is very clear. The bloody battle for kingship cannot be worthy of the word bloody without a mountain of corpses to accompany it. He just needs to fight all the way up and clear the royal city. Soon. Shen Jian stood up. The slender and golden proportioned body looked very oppressive, and he stared directly at the ghost scribe Kali Til. The ghost clerk's eyes shrank, he subconsciously took a step back, and said in a panic, "What do you want to do? Don't blame her for reacting like this." In fact, after Shen Jian woke up, the contrast he brought to her was so great that she couldn't help but start to wonder if Shen Jian was hiding his true identity. Now he suddenly stood up and used the hand that was a head taller than her. Standing tall and tall in front of her, she subconsciously felt a silent sense of oppression. I started to get nervous unconsciously. Shen Jian looked strange and said, "What? Miss Tyre is going to stand here and watch me change clothes?" "I don't mind," said. Shen Jian lifted up his pajamas directly, revealing strong muscle lines. "Ah!" The ghost secretary covered his face and ran out of the dormitory in a hurry. Before leaving, also dropped the word rogue. "See this?" Shen Jian glanced at the favorability panel. Ghost Scribe Kali Til. Favorability, add 9, -21 alert. He smiled. "I added 9 points at once, which is not bad. It doesn't seem too difficult to conquer." Duke Kali had already been the victim once, so he didn't mind letting the other party do it again, but he didn't know if Duke Kali's mother was still alive. Sister, Ghost Duke Hillis, plus a mother. The Sufferer Trilogy. Shen Jian's eyes were strange. It's already considered a yellow hair, so sleeping and taking it should be considered a normal operation. Soon, Shen Jian left the castle. Ghost Scribe Kali Tir followed Shen to the gym angrily. His eyes moved to Shen Jian's abdomen from time to time, and then he shook his head. He couldn't help but spat at Shen Jian, and whispered in a low voice, "He hasn't changed, he is still the ridiculous fourth prince." Shen Jian pretended not to hear. Walking the streets of this territory, everywhere you look, there is a scene of backwardness and poverty relief. The style is that of a poor refugee town in the Middle Ages. A cursory look. The terror levels of the ghost residents here are basically below the red-coated level. There are a few red-coated level ghosts who have their own industries. As for the Ghost King, he patrolled the entire town and didn't find a single one. Shen Jian's mouth twitched slightly. How disappointing is this fourth prince? The overall heritage of the entire town is not as good as a normal 4-star supernatural copy. That's to the point where Samsung is close to the top of the line. It is on the same level as the previous Blood Moon High School. One can imagine how much poverty relief is done here. It is undoubtedly a dream to develop such a territory within 5 years without any resources and having to acquire everything by ourselves. Then, next moment, a scarlet panel flashed. The title of Dungeon Terminator has taken effect. Trigger hidden tasks. Hidden mission: build walls high, accumulate grain widely, and slowly become king. Content: as the fourth prince of the Eli Empire, the border town is the player's territory. Lead the development of the border town and participate in the Bloody King trial. Task conditions: as a lord, siege cities and occupy territory. Every time you capture a territory with a lord, the reputation of the four princes will be refreshed, and you can get rewards for destroying the plot. Note: fighting alone is what ordinary people do. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author: Shiyu Buletin Chigwa. Chapter 801. Glancing at the activated hidden mission, Shen Jian looked strange. From the scarlet text, he saw two words: restriction. As a lord, he had to conquer a city and take territory, and he also had to lead a border town to participate in the king trial. This meant that his method of destroying a city by himself was no longer feasible. This is completely a naked restriction. Especially the note in the last line: it almost pointed at his nose and said, "You vulgar warrior." Thriller games also know how to adapt. Is this a request for the ultimate heir to the thriller game? Or was it just to target him? Shen Jian pondered for a moment. Then an idea came to my mind. Not being able to attack the city alone is not something worth worrying about. After all, the thriller game only allows him to lead the border town to occupy other territories as a lord, but it does not say that he cannot provide assistance in the process. To him, the results were the same. He already has an idea. Isn't it just farming and climbing technological trees? In this dungeon with a medieval background, it seems that a dimensionality reduction attack on the technological side is about to take place. Think of this. Shen Jian turned his eyes to the ghost secretary Kali Til beside him and asked, "How many ghosts are there in the border town? If I want to unite them, how long will it take you to convince me?" The ghost secretary paused and said without thinking, "So far, there are a total of 70 households with nearly 150 ghosts, including 20 red-clad level, 90 green-clad level, and 40 white-clad level. As for uniting them. Speaking of which..." She hesitated for a while, then considered it and said, "I think, probably not. Any questions?" Shen Jian frowned slightly. The ghost secretary rolled his eyes. "Your Highness, don't you think that your image here has been very good in the past 2 years? Didn't you see that when we walked here, no ghost dared to stay within 100 meters around us? We just walked all the way, several shops have closed. Who do you think is the reason?" Shen Jian. His facial muscles were slightly stretched. "What about the original ghost mayor here?" he asked again. "Before he came, there must have been a supernatural master in this border town. Even an ordinary 3-star supernatural master had a terror level above the top red ones, and he might even be a ghost king." The ghost secretary looked at Shen Jian with a strange look again, and said angrily, "Your Highness, you have forgotten again that the ghost mayor here was driven away by you a year ago, but this place is his hard work after all. He did not go far, but lived in a village a few kilometers away. Go and call him back. I need to gather all the residents of the border town, and I need to rely on his reputation." Shen Jian said. "He may not be willing," Kali Tir kindly reminded, the king trial only lasts for 5 years. After 5 years, if the territory governed by the prince is worse than before, the supernatural master of the place can receive compensation. And there are other extra rewards from the royal family, and coupled with your attitude towards him, your highness, he may not be willing to be driven by you. Shen Jian was stunned for a moment, then his eyes turned cold, and he said in a faint tone, "Tell him, this is my order, if he dares to disobey, you kill him on the spot, let him try, kill him as the lord of a poor town, will I know, be punished." Ghost clerk. She stared blankly at the domineering man in front of her. Killing the local lord is a taboo in the king trial. But she couldn't detect any joking in Shen Jian's words. That is to say, if the ghost mayor really refused Shen Jian's order, then he would really let himself kill the ghost mayor on the spot. It's different. The uneducated, absurd, and indulgent fourth prince in front of him was really different from before. Become calm and decisive. There was a domineering tone in his words that could not be rejected. It doesn't look like the same person at all. Can a person's disguise really be so thorough? Pretending to be a playboy for more than 10 years? What for? Hiding and waiting for the opportunity? For a while. Ghost scribe Kali Tyre felt his thoughts were confused. But she still carried out Shen Jian's orders seriously. Logically speaking, she was the clerk, and she was only responsible for recording Shen Jian's every move after arriving in the territory, and was not responsible for executing other orders. However, the fourth prince was different. According to the royal family, she was both the clerk and the fourth prince's adjutant. When necessary, she could bypass the fourth prince and issue orders directly. Therefore, at some point, she also needs to help the fourth prince with trivial matters. Night. This is the first night for players to enter the instance. Shen Jian was lying on the bed. Look at the various messages on the chat interface. I have a good understanding of the situation of the Western Holy See organization. The status of the Holy See organization is equivalent to that of Daxia in the Dragon Kingdom, but unlike Daxia attitude towards ghost controllers, the Holy See has greater restrictions in this regard. He is not a member of the Holy See, he is not qualified to govern a city, he is not qualified to obtain more terrifying world intelligence, and he is not qualified to enjoy any superstandard treatment. Because of this, more than 80% of players in the Western world are members of the Holy See. With the huge supply of intelligence and resources, there are as many 5-star players as you can count on your hands. Occupying 1/7 of the country. The Holy See has naturally become the well-deserved leader. In this copy, there are already 2 5-star players on the surface, one Adolf and the other Sam. Secretly, it is still unclear whether there are other 5-star players. At least judging from the current situation, the leaders of this copy are these 2 people. At this time, another piece of news came out. Adolf, guys, I just learned that this bloody battle for the king refers to the battle for the throne within the royal family. Whoever can stand out from it will be the final crown prince and those currently known to have participated in the trial for the king. There are 5 members of the royal family. Adolf, they are the eldest prince, second prince, third prince, fourth prince, and sixth prince. Adolf, I don't know which prince is most likely to win, but I know which prince is the weakest. If you choose, it will be a sinkhole. That is the fourth prince. If you are near the territory of the fourth prince, you'd better leave as soon as possible than just one to make up the numbers. Adolf, although the Hanfan Ridge where I am located has not been annexed by other princes, the territory closest to me is the second prince's territory. I estimate that in less than half a year, the nobles here will become the second prince's people. The future extensive. If you can make some contributions, you will have great chances of promotion and greater status. All the players looked at the message on the panel, and their hearts moved. The main task of the copy here is to climb up, but there is no clear explanation of where you need to climb. Even if you change from a beggar to a homeless person, it is still an upward climb. But For ambitious players, this level is obviously not enough. No matter how fast or high one climbs in an ordinary position, it is not as good as becoming a noble, a subordinate of a prince, or, in other words, a subordinate of the crown prince. And to do this, you need to first join a supernatural place where a certain noble is located, and then use it as a springboard to enter the eyes of a certain prince. This is the correct way to open the copy. Certainly. How to choose a prince and how to join the supernatural place where the nobles are located are all difficult problems and require more specific and detailed information to verify. As for the fourth prince Adolf mentioned, they wrote it down. I plan to collect some information. Let's see how bad this fourth prince is, so that a 5-star player can conclude that the opponent is here to make up the numbers on the first day he enters the dungeon. The other side. Shen Jian. Looking at the content on the chat interface, he looked normal. Nothing else. Got used to. The image of this fourth prince in the Eli Empire has basically been completely destroyed. Notoriety spread far and wide. Even in slightly remote areas, everyone knew that there was a dandy prince in the royal family and a useless person. This extreme impression had a long-lasting influence. In a short period of time, there is no way to reverse it. If he wanted to refresh the fourth prince's reputation, he needed to do something big. To this, he already has an idea. As long as they unite with the residents of the border town, they can start the goal of conquering the land. Thinking. Shen Jian's eyes moved slightly. Glancing at the slight movement on the balcony of the castle, a sinister smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Finally come. Before fighting the outside world, you must first make peace with the inside. Only by finding out the secrets around the fourth prince can we have a stable rear area. Then, Shen Jian closed his eyes. At the same time, on the balcony of Shen Jian's dormitory, a ghost figure suddenly emerged from the shadow under the moonlight. That's a female ghost. He is handsome and his demeanor does not look like that of a normal servant. If the original fourth prince was still around, he would know that this female ghost was actually the head maid of the castle, responsible for the fourth prince's internal affairs. Now. But she changed her outfit and transformed into a night ghost assassin. He arrived at the fourth prince's dormitory quietly. He's breathing. It seems he's asleep. He's really stupid. I thought he would be wary of his mistake. But I didn't expect that. I thought highly of him. He's still the same stupid loser. The ghost maid shook her head. I feel ridiculous for being so cautious along the way. 2. How could a good-for-nothing prince who only knew how to have fun know that his last slip was actually arranged by them? The fourth prince probably still thought that he accidentally fell. But this time, his luck was not so good. She has obtained a bottle of supernatural toxin. Inhaling just 1 drop can put a ghost king into a short sleep. If 3 drops are taken, the king of hell will be unable to be saved and will surely die. In this way, even if her mission is completed, she can go back and resume her life. Moment. The ghost maid quietly walked into the castle. He saw the fourth prince sleeping peacefully on the bed. She opened the bottle containing the supernatural toxin and was about to take action. Abruptly, she suddenly saw that there seemed to be a shadow flashing behind her in the moonlight. At the same time, a voice sounded in her ear, as if breathing hot air into her ear. It's so late, are you here to treat me to a big dinner? Ghost maid. She was confused. He turned back with a stiff expression. She happened to see, under the looming moonlight, a face with blonde hair and golden eyes, staring at her with a strange smile. There was less than 3 centimeters between the faces. This sudden change caused the ghost maid to die. I just feel like my heart is going to beat out. This scene. It was downright terrifying. The fourth prince, who was supposed to be resting on the bed, appeared silently behind her and showed that weird smile. It's like riding a horse. The next second. Her pupils widened. Because she saw that when the two were face to face with less than 3 centimeters apart, the fourth prince suddenly moved forward, closed the distance to within 1 centimeter, then opened his mouth and licked her face. Ghost maid. Damn it. No, you are really a humming pervert. End of chapter. Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author, Shiyu Bulletin Chigwa. Chapter 802. You, Your Highness, what are you doing? The ghost maid stared at the fourth prince in front of her in horror, feeling her heart skip a beat. Grass. When did His Highness become so perverted? In the middle of the night, he didn't sleep, and he went around behind her, whispered in her ear, and even licked her. This was so abnormal. Although she had indeed considered spending a night with the fourth prince before, that was before, and now she was a detailed agent, one of the undercover agents assigned to the fourth prince, specifically responsible for monitoring the fourth prince's movements. But now, the fourth prince's various behaviors made her feel cold. He always felt that he had been exposed, which made the fourth prince become defensive. Think of this. The ghost maid suddenly had an idea, and she immediately lowered her head shyly and said coquettishly, "Your Highness, I'm here to attend your bed." Shen Jian clicked his tongue and grinned, "This smells like lying." Ghost maid. No. God smells like lying. Your Highness, when did you learn this kind of supernatural power? Can you tell someone is lying by licking them? It's noisy. She hesitated and glanced left and right. Your Majesty, I don't know what you are talking about. GGG, it doesn't matter if you don't admit it. I have a human polygraph. Shen Jian raised his hand. The bright white electric light intertwined in his hand, like a snake, lingering in his hand and making a crackling sound. Come, tell me, are you a boy or a girl? Female. Sizzle. An arc of electricity fell on the ghost maid. Ah! At once. The other party screamed miserably. There was black smoke all over his body. He wanted to open his mouth, but what came out of his mouth was a wisp of black mist. The ghost maid looked at Shen Jian with a confused expression. What the hell, am I not a woman? I answered all the questions correctly, why do you call me wrong? See this? Shen Jian said casually, I just want you to try how it feels to answer the wrong question. Relax. Ghost maid. Gan. If you dare to reply or not, you will be lynched. Then you might as well ask a difficult question so that I can't answer it. For a while. She can't fix it anymore. I could only gasp, endure the severe pain in my body, and tried to stand up, but I couldn't. The man in front of him was clearly the fourth prince, but his behavior was so perverted and his methods so cruel that it was as if he had changed into a different person. He also used supernatural means that he had never seen before. This crackling and flashing thunder, just once, completely made her lose the ability to resist. You must know that she is the Ghost King and has served the fourth prince since she was a child. She knows his abilities very well. But the fourth prince now is too strange. Who does your rate belong to? Shen Jian, the old Shinto. The ghost maid fell silent, as if she had accepted her fate. He didn't speak, but closed his eyes, as if he was going to die calmly. Shen Jian curled his lips. Another bolt of thunder fell on the opponent. Then he took out a ghost heart. In Gui's heart, he possesses the hypnotic powers he gained from the underworld sick building copy. Coupled with his talent for the words of ghosts and gods, the hypnotic effect is 100% effective. No one could hide a secret from him. Tell me who sent you. Shen Jian opened his mouth. The voices of ghosts and gods echoed. An invisible supernatural force swept over the entire place. The ghost maid was just in a trance for a moment, then confided, I am from the third princess. The third princess sent me to secretly monitor your every move, and asked us to disguise you as if you were in an accidental coma, so that you are disqualified. Here. Shen Jian raised his eyebrows slightly. The third princess? He didn't expect this. He originally thought that the one who took action would be the eldest prince or the second prince, but he didn't expect that it was the third prince's daughter. Shen Jian had learned something about this person from the ghost maid. It is said that this third princess was so courageous that she chose the high seas as her territory. And there is news that the third princess has conquered the bandits on the sea and has become the well-deserved queen of the high seas. She has reported a large number of surrendered pirates under her command, and her power is expanding at the fastest speed among the royal heirs. The second prince has already posed a fatal threat to the eldest prince. It's just that Shen Jian didn't expect it. While these people were fighting fiercely, the third princess actually still had time to control the people on his side and arrange his exit personally, even though they were thousands of miles apart. All I can say is that the fourth prince is really useless. Shen Jian dismissed this thought and continued, besides you, how many people from the third princess are there inside and outside this castle? Well, the entire team of attendants are from the third princess. The ghost maid said truthfully. According to my observation, the logistics department clearly includes the eldest prince and the second prince's people. Even the chef and maid responsible for delivering meals to your highness are also their people. Shen Jian. He couldn't hold himself any longer. In other words, there are undercover agents inside and outside the castle in this border town? Crooked son. This is too bullying. Fortunately, this fourth prince is really a dandy. He doesn't care about anything and only enjoys indulgence every day. Otherwise, if it were a normal prince, he would have been depressed long ago if he knew that there were undercover agents everywhere around him. There was silence for a long time. Shen Jian lifted the supernatural effect. The ghost maid immediately woke up. He stared at Shen Jian as if he had seen a ghost. Because everything she just said was not voluntary. Something is wrong. This is so wrong. Where did the fourth prince's landlord come from with this supernatural power? Your highness, you hide it so deeply. This moment. The ghost maid also reacted. I know that Shen Jian is not as simple as he seems on the surface. Thunder in one hand and hypnosis in the other, these are all things that the fourth prince has never shown before. Now. She was the first to know all this. Shen Jian did not respond, but said calmly, take me to the escort team and find all the undercover agents. I can make your death less painful, otherwise, I will let you go to the streets to choose strippers. Ghost maid. She looked at Shen Jian with fear. My whole body trembled. Before, she didn't believe it, but now, she had to believe it. It was okay to do a striptease, but she was afraid that Shen Jian would hypnotize her into a special kind of ghost from the land of smoke and willows, leaving her unable to get up for the rest of her life. By then. That's the nightmare. There was a moment of silence. She slowly closed her eyes. Don't blame her for betrayal, it's true that Shen Jian is not a human being. Think this through. She said weakly, I'll take you there. Not long after. Under the guidance of the ghost maid. Shen Jian quickly arrived at the side of the castle. This is similar to a martial arts arena, where the guards live. Shen Jian learned that as one of the heirs of the royal family, when participating in the king's trial, he was eligible to establish his own guard team. How many people could be recruited depended purely on personal charm, financial resources, and the power behind it. Like the eldest prince, when he first recruited the knights, he attracted thousands of elite knights to follow him. The second prince and the third princess are not bad either. Recruitment was also empty. Only the fourth prince had only a few trainee ghost knights around him when he was recruited, and they were all eliminated. Because of this, there were not many guards around the fourth prince, only 5 or 6. 2 ghost kings and 3 top red ones. Compared with the prince status of the Eli Empire royal family, this bodyguard lineup seems extremely shabby. Just like that, these people are all undercover. Shen Jian couldn't help but click his tongue. This is it. The ghost maid glanced at Shen Jian cautiously. There is something strange in the ghost eyes. Although she had resigned herself to her fate, she still held some other hopes in her heart. To know. There are 2 ghost kings and 3 top reds here, joining forces. Unless the ghost secretary Kali Tir takes action, the 4th prince, who is at the level of a ghost king, may not be his opponent. If Shen Jian was captured, she wouldn't have to die. She was thinking about whether there was any way to warn the spy inside to prevent Shen Jian from making a sneak attack in the dark. Come and defeat them one by one. But soon. She knew that she was thinking too much. Shen Jian had no intention of making a sneak attack at all. She looked around. Shen Jian came to the residence and knocked on the door carelessly. Open the door, I am the 4th prince. A few seconds later. There were several footsteps inside. 5 knights who were not even wearing armor walked over suspiciously and looked at each other. What the hell? How could the 4th prince come over at this time? Could it be that the head maid failed? How can this be? Although both of them are ghost kings, how can a ghost king like the 4th prince, who has not even experienced a few supernatural confrontations, be the opponent of the head maid? Not to mention that the head maid also carries a special supernatural toxin. There is basically no possibility of failure. Immediately. The captain of the guard said hesitantly through the door, Your Highness. You are not resting in the castle in the middle of the night. Why do you come to see us? I'm here to bring you blessings. Hear this. The captain of the guard was even more confused. You came to deliver us blessings in the middle of the night? Is it your problem or is it ours? Your Highness, serving you is our greatest blessing. We dare not ask for anything else. Outside the door. Shen Jian kicked towards the door. He cursed and said, Then it's not up to you. I want to give you blessings. If you don't want to, you have to stick to me. The words fell. Boom. There was a roar. The door was kicked straight away, and the smoke and dust dispersed. Shen Jian's figure broke through the dust and was revealed in front of everyone. Aside. The ghost maid shivered. Why did she feel that the 4th prince's behavior had become increasingly unreasonable since he woke up from a coma? Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author, Shi Buletin Chi Gua. Chapter 803. Boom. With a roar, the solid door was kicked open, and dust was raised. Shen Jian broke through the smoke and appeared in the small courtyard. The cool breeze blew by, and the long golden hair was carelessly brushed on the shoulders. A pair of golden pupils were shining like never-extinguishing golden pupils. In the dark night, Shen Jian's facial features were strong and clear, and there was a charming smile on the corner of his mouth. See this. The pupils of the 5 guard ghosts shrank. I just feel cold all over my body. This is so wrong. Although the 4th prince was arrogant, domineering, absurd and incompetent, at least he never showed such a sick expression when dealing with the knights who protected his life. This is so weird. Even if the 4th prince really knew from somewhere that they were undercover agents, he shouldn't have been so reckless and betrayed him. Otherwise, he would have to wait until the ghost secretary was present. Without the ghost secretary, the abyss-level ghost king, how could the 4th prince, an ordinary ghost king, break up in front of them? Just because of his status as a prince? They are working undercover. And the order they received now was to put the 4th prince into a short sleep and eliminate him from the king trial. How dare he do it under such circumstances? All kinds of doubts appeared in the minds of these ghost guards. The captain of the guard was also shocked. The corner of his mouth twitched. It's not enough not to accept your blessing. When it comes to forced buying and selling, the fourth prince is better than the old master. Your Highness, what do you mean? He immediately shouted sharply. The supernatural fluctuations belonging to the Ghost King level spread. The knights of the bodyguard are the guardians of the royal heirs, not your servants. What your Highness did today chills our hearts. His words are true. The bodyguard knights are a special force in the Eli Empire. Every year, the royal family selects a number of ghosts to train, and those who pass the exam will have the opportunity to become bodyguard knights. The only role of this ghost knight army is to protect the royal heirs. They can choose the monarch they are satisfied with to serve them and risk their lives for them. If a prince does not even have a bodyguard knight, then in the eyes of everyone, this prince has no value at all and will become a joke. What he said was to test the fourth prince's reaction. Hear the words. A warm smile appeared on Shen Jian's face, and he walked in unsuspectingly, with a familiar attitude. Don't be nervous, I told you that I am here to deliver blessings, and you have been following me for a few years. There is hard work even if there is no credit. It just so happens that I have been studying medical skills recently and have achieved some results, so I thought of you first. Are you happy? A group of guard ghosts. Ah. Do you have humming medical skills? What is the difference between this and a sow climbing a tree? Don't forget, as Shen Jian's bodyguards, they are the kind of people who provide close protection around the clock, and since arriving in this border town, Shen Jian has not done anything serious for a day. Yesterday I was listening to music, today I am teasing the women of the people, tomorrow I am bullying the people, the day after tomorrow I am squandering, the day after tomorrow I am intoxicated. In the past 2 years, the fourth prince has been repeating this kind of life. Where do you find the time to read medical books? Wrong. Whether the fourth prince can understand medical books is a question. Your Majesty, we are healthy. The captain of the guard hesitated, somewhat unsure of Shen Jian's meaning. Every patient will say this, just like you. Shen Jian pointed at a top red-dressed guard ghost and said casually, have you been feeling cold hands and feet recently, chills all over, trouble breathing, no blood on your face, and you don't sleep well, and your heart sometimes stops for several minutes? Only jumped once. The guard who was pointed at was stunned for a moment, a little dizzy, and felt that something was wrong. But when he thought about it carefully, his eyes suddenly widened. It seems, there are really these symptoms. His hands and feet were indeed cold, there was no blood on his body, and his heartbeat was very low, and sometimes it would take a long time to hear a sound. These symptoms are exactly what Shen Jian said. Does the fourth prince really know medical skills? For a while, the others looked at each other. Immediately afterwards, Shen Jian looked at the others again. Seems to be observing something. Then he frowned, sighed repeatedly, and shook his head without saying a word. This reaction. This made the other 4 guard ghosts tremble in their hearts. As the saying goes, if you are not afraid of a smiling doctor, you are afraid of a low-looking doctor. Immediately, some people lost their temper and panicked. Your Highness, am I also sick? Shen Jian glanced at the Ghost King who had a big hole in his chest and could not heal on his own, and said with a solemn expression, you are indeed sick. Do you always feel empty in your heart recently? You are also accompanied by special symptoms such as cold hands and feet, and, sometimes you can't even feel your own heart. Wuxingui stood in awe. And you, the problem is the most serious. Shen Jian pointed at the captain of the guard again, looking like an old Chinese doctor who is getting more and more worried when he sees a doctor. Do you always feel that your brain is not strong enough lately? Guard captain? He walked around with a third of his head missing, and said with some surprise, no, I feel like my brain is spinning pretty fast. Let's pretend, let me ask you a question, and you must answer it within 3 seconds. Shen Jian paused and opened his mouth. In the competition, you beat the second place, So where are you? The captain of the guard subconsciously said, Number 1. Shen Jian looked at him with pity and asked, if you can't do something so simple, then I'll give you a simpler one. If you try to fail and succeed, do you fail or succeed? Guard captain? He froze. The words failure and success kept flashing in my mind, and I felt as if my brain was shutting down. Emma. This question. I haven't been able to find out if I have had a cerebral hemorrhage for 10 years. Fourth prince, where did this stupid question come from? Unfortunately, he still couldn't answer. Is he really not smart enough? Is he sick? No way. Just now he felt that he wanted a lot. Brain overload. This scene. This made the other guard ghosts even more panicked. He whispered softly. Damn it, don't I have enough brains? Isn't the answer to the first question just mentioned by His Highness number 1? Yes, it's more than the second place. What is it if it's not the first place? I seem to understand. If you surpass the second place, then in the competition, won't you become the second place? You have to surpass the first place, and you will be the first place. This sentence. Let the ghosts be enlightened. Everyone opened their mouths wide. It seems, that's really the case. No, I need to grow a brain. There are guards covering their heads, never admitting that their brains are not enough. But even the captain is sick, and he seems to be seriously ill. Can they still be saved? Your Highness, do you think I still have a chance? The top red-clad bodyguard who was diagnosed at the beginning said in a panic. The eagerness on Shen Jian's face became even stronger. Of course there is a chance. Your situation is one of kidney deficiency and kidney deficiency. I have a once and for all method that can help you cure it quickly. The other side. Watch this scene. The ghost maid outside was also stunned. Fourth prince, when did you master deception to this extent? Did he fool all his accomplices? Damn it. You guys are so stupid. God's hands and feet are so cold. We are damn ghosts. If our bodies are not cold, how can we be hot? Difficulty breathing and slow heartbeat, aren't these the basic characteristics of Gizwi? If you pick up anyone on the street now, they all have these symptoms. For a while, the ghost maid is in a mess. Standing in the wind, not knowing whether to intervene. She always felt that with the IQs of these people, it would be useless to tell them. Otherwise, she'd better run away. Just thinking about it? At the same time, Shen Jian had already arrived at the top red-clad guard ghost and said with a professional expression, there is a big problem with your kidney, I will help you remove it. Pick up? So careless? Shouldn't it be treated conservatively first and then curbed if possible? Your treatment methods are somewhat cruel. However, before the other party could refuse, Shen Jian had already reached into the guard ghost's body and pulled out a heart. He glanced at it, shook his head and said, this doesn't seem to be a kidney. I took it out by mistake. Forget it, I'll take it out again. Guard ghost. He looked at Shen Jian in disbelief. I'm your uncle. The location of the kidneys and the heart are thousands of miles apart. How the hell can you get it wrong? Play with me. Even if I don't have any medical skills, I can still tell the difference between the heart and the kidneys. Your medical skills are related to neurology? Wait, I don't. The words just fell. Shen Jian had already taken out all the organs from the opponent's body. The next second, the guard ghost completely lost his supernatural reflexes. This moment, the ghosts were dumbfounded. Then he reacted. Especially the captain of the guard, whose grimace changed in shock. A third of his head was missing, and brain marrow was constantly flowing out. He said in horror, Your Highness, if you kill the knight of the guard for no reason, we will definitely report it to the royal family. You are fighting against all the people. The guard knight is the enemy. Ha ha ha, then you have to be alive to report it. Shen Jian smiled sadly. Just grab it. Another top red-clad guard ghost was decapitated by him. You wanna die? The captain of the guard roared angrily. He rushed towards Shen Jian. The next second, Shen Jian sneered, but didn't make any move. With just a slap, the head of the guard captain flew away and flew outside, landing right in front of the ghost maid who was about to escape. Now, everyone's face turned green. Damn it! What kind of strange power is this? Slap a ghost king's head away. When did the fourth prince have such power? This is not the power that an ordinary ghost king should have. At least he must be a top ghost king to have such strength. Really? Everything before the fourth prince was just an act. The purpose is to project a non-threatening image of oneself. This is too scary. He has been pretending for more than 10 years. Thinking. The ghost maid saw Shen Jian walking out quickly. In the small courtyard, there was no movement at all. Apparently, all 5 guard ghosts were dead. Let's go, continue to show the way. This game of who is the undercover should be over. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author, Shi Buletin Chigua. Chapter 804. At the same time, the other side of the castle. The ghost scribe Kali Tyre was leading a man who looked to be in his 40s, wearing a wallet and with a rough face towards the direction of the castle. It was the mayor of the border town who had been replaced by the fourth prince. The true supernatural lord of this place. Its level of terror is impressively at the level of a ghost king. As can be seen, the ghost town mayor's eyes evaded, his steps slowed down, and he seemed unwilling to enter the castle. I kindly remind you once that His Highness the Fourth Prince has something to ask you. No matter what it is, I advise you to agree. Otherwise, if His Highness wants to kill you, I will not stop him. Kali Tyre said in a cold tone. Sir Secretary, if he wants to sell this place and turn to Erlano, do I have to obey him? The ghost mayor said bitterly. He had obviously been hiding, but unexpectedly, he was finally caught by this resolute secretary. The main reason why he didn't want to see the fourth prince was naturally to complain. The other princes and princesses took over the territory. I can't say how much contribution they could make, but at least they would not worsen the situation in the territory or even drive away the local residents. Here. What's more important is that the fourth prince, that playboy, actually used the excuse that he was tired of playing to sell his territory and move to a larger Earl territory. How could he accept this? Because of this, he has been hiding from the fourth prince during this period, just for fear of being taken away by the other party and forced to give up his supernatural land. To know. This is different from being taken over by a prince or princess. Once he is given away, it means that he is no longer the supernatural master of a border town. Although he is a ghost king who owns a 3-star supernatural land and governs a small town, and for a 3 ghost king, the gap is still huge. He is 10,000 reluctant. Ghost clerk Carly Till paused for a moment, thinking of Shen Jian's various behaviors after he woke up. After thinking for a while, he frowned and said, Your Highness, things have become different. Your Highness has risen from your territory. Maybe you will also have the opportunity to become a minister of Konglong. Hear this. The ghost mayor looked at the secretary next to him, who looked like a water elf, as if he had seen a ghost, as if to say, Are you kidding me? From the minister of the dragon, this must be a reward for assisting the prince in winning the king's trial, right? He, the fourth prince, won the trial to fight for the king? Did you drink too much or did I drink too much? If this is a fantasy story, it can still be counterattacked. Sir Secretary, are you kidding? The trial for the king has been going on for almost 2 years. The eldest prince has won the support of most of the nobles in the western region. The second prince has also raised a good army in the eastern region. The princess has unified the entire high seas. Even the 6 princesses, who are inconspicuous, are still famous in the north. What does the 4th prince have? They are in a mess. The ghost mayor was rude. The trial for the king allows each royal heir to develop their own territory, and the chosen lord of the territory is undoubtedly the core part of the prince's development at the beginning. Once the supported prince ascends to the throne and inherits the throne in the future, the status of the lord of the territory will be a rising tide will also lift all boats. Ken. After he was assigned to the 4th prince, he stopped having such sweet dreams. But he didn't expect that the secretary hadn't given up yet. Hear the words. Ghost scribe Kali Tir opened his red lips, then tightened them again, and sighed with regret. Yes. She was indeed shocked by Shen Jian's changes, so much so that she felt a little hopeful in her heart. Think about it now. Even if the 4th prince wakes up, he has already lagged behind the other princes and princesses for nearly 2 years. It will be very difficult for him to develop further. After all, such a long time is enough for most nobles to have a candidate to support them. Although there is no movement in the southern region where the 4th prince is, there is already an undercurrent surging, and the eyes of several princes and princesses have already been focused. It even penetrated into the 4th prince's side, supervising him inside and out. Even if he wanted to take any action, he was severely restricted. If you want to rise again, it will undoubtedly be several times more difficult than before. And whether other princes and princesses will watch the rise of the 4th prince is also a difficult question. The atmosphere was silent for a while. The ghost secretary opened her lips lightly. No matter what, he is still the prince of the royal family of the Eli Empire. Resisting him is definitely not a suitable choice. Said. The 2 of them had arrived at the gate of the castle. The ghost secretary was stunned. Then his expression changed drastically. Because she saw ahead in the direction of the guard ghost's residence. She was very familiar with that head. It belongs to the captain of the guard. Inside the residence, it was even more of a mess, with several bodies lying on their backs. No, His Highness is in danger. She was shocked and angry. A terrifying supernatural force belonging to the Abyss-level Ghost King erupted. Too much bullying. Less than a day had passed since the 4th prince woke up, and he was attacked again. If something happens again, then her secretary and adjutant will simply bring disgrace to the Kali family, one of the 4 holy families. At this time, a sharp voice sounded. Lord Kali, help me. The ghost scribe looked. I saw a fat ghost dressed as a chef running out of the castle in fear, running towards her as if grasping the last straw. She also knew this person. He is the chef who specializes in serving the 4th prince. The level of terror is above that of the top red ones. What exactly is going on? What happened in the castle while she was away? Where is your highness? The ghost secretary had a gloomy face, and his perfect appearance looked very ghostly at this moment. As the ghost chef ran over, he said sharply with trembling lips, Your Highness, he is crazy. He led the head maid to kill in the castle. Anyone who dared to resist him has been killed. The next one maybe it's my turn. As soon as these words came out, the ghost secretary and the ghost mayor were shocked. The murderer was actually the 4th prince. According to their understanding, in the past 2 years, although the 4th prince was disgusting in the border town and had a reputation for being absurd and indulgent, they had never heard of him. He was also bloodthirsty. Just thinking about it? Behind the ghost chef, a figure also walked out of the castle. The blond man with golden eyes, holding a ghost sword in his hand, with blood still dripping from the tip of the sword, was Shen Jian. At this time, Shen Jian looked at the ghost chefs running back, grinned, and shouted, "Don't run away, I'm actually a good person, I won't do anything to you, come on, you stop first, let me show you something good." The ghost chef's ghost is gone. He passed by the ghost secretary and the ghost mayor and ran outside. "Damn it, can you please give me a little face? How did you just use the cloak and stick technique in the back kitchen to kill a group of cooks and maids? Don't you have a clue? If you are a good person, there will be no bad people in this world. It's so weird. Slipping away. Whoever likes to do this undercover job can do it." Anyway, he was afraid. This fourth prince is too cruel. While thinking, he ran away faster. Shen Jian didn't give up and shouted again, "Don't run away. There is a trap at the door. Don't go out." When the ghost chef heard this, he looked contemptuous. "Damn it! When I am a 3-year-old child, I wouldn't have been fooled by this kind of deception since I was 5 years old. As the saying goes, if the enemy won't let you do it, just do it boldly." Since Shen Jian didn't want him to leave the castle, it meant that the fourth prince also knew that his reputation would be even worse once news about what happened today was spread. And this trend must be exposed. Let the fourth prince no longer have the opportunity to compete for the king. That's what I thought. Laugh. The moment you step out of the castle gate. The ghost chef was shocked to find that his body was suddenly divided into more than a dozen pieces, one on the left and one on the right. Subsequently, scattered on the ground. What? Was he attacked? When? The ghost chef glared unwillingly and took in the last scene he saw with his eyes. At the entrance of the castle, one after another, thin lines shining with golden light were seen, hanging row by row on both sides, intertwined into a golden net like a laser. And just now, because he passed through the golden net, he was divided into more than a dozen pieces in an instant. Damn it! It turns out there's a humming trap at the door. You idiot, you actually went against the rules of me. With this thought in mind, the ghost chef refused to rest in peace. I told you there was a trap, so I had to hit it head on. See this? Shen Jian also curled his lips. He looked distressed. It seems to be saying, look, if you don't listen to the prince's words, you will suffer a lot. Ghost scribe Kali Till. Ghost mayor. The two were stunned. Subconsciously touched his body. After discovering that there were no signs of cracking, I breathed a sigh of relief. But what followed was a burst of horror. They were fine when they walked into the door, but something happened to the ghost chef after Shen Jian finished speaking. In other words, the golden thread was formed while Shen Jian was speaking. In just a few seconds, an attack method capable of killing the top red-clothed devil was created, but it was still nearly 100 meters away. Fourth prince, when did you have such a method? And what is he doing? Crazy. Think of this possibility. The ghost mayor retreated subconsciously. He and Shen Jian are both ghost kings. Although he is not afraid of Shen Jian, if he hurts a prince, no matter what he says, it will be ignored. Your Highness, what are you doing? The ghost secretary also reacted at this time and said solemnly. She is the strongest fighting force in the small border town. He possesses the level of an abyss-level ghost king. Suppressing Shen Jian is not a problem. If Shen Jian still has a bloodthirsty tendency, then she can only report it back and suggest that the fourth prince be disqualified from competing for the king. Hear this. Shen Jian glanced at the ghost secretary and put away the ghost sword. Can't you see? I'm dealing with an undercover agent. Your adjutant did a terrible job. There is no one in the entire castle who has not been infiltrated, except you and me. Besides, everyone here is undercover. Hear the words. The ghost secretary's brows twitched slightly. Everyone undercover? This. She knew there was a mole inside the castle, but she really never thought about the possibility that everyone was a mole. This means that not only Shen Jian is being monitored, but her every move is also being secretly monitored. This is a dereliction of duty on her part. Abruptly, she seemed to remember something and asked in surprise, "Your Highness, are you saying that everyone is an undercover agent? Including those in the guards? You killed them all?" The ghost mayor was also shocked. He knew that with the 5 guard ghosts in the guard team, including 2 ghost kings and 3 top red ones, he could only escape if they joined forces. And the 4th prince, kill them? How can this be? The 4th prince has this ability? What's so weird about killing a few ghost kings these days? Shen Jian raised his eyebrows and looked directly at the ghost mayor. Ghost mayor, I suspect you're thinking about me. But I have no proof. Something strange is coming? Fortunately, I am the king of hell of the 10th palace. Author, Shi Yu Bulletin Chi Gua. Chapter 805. Thump. A man has gold at his knees, and now is the time to cash it in. The ghost mayor knelt down. Under Shen Jian's aggressive gaze, he chose to follow his heart. Before entering the castle, he might have had some complaints and indeed looked down on Shen Jian, but now, he just wants to live. After all, the 4th prince can even deal with 2 ghost kings and 3 top red-clothed ghosts together. It is not difficult to kill him. On the premise that the entire castle has been slaughtered, killing one more of him will be a problem. Not a big deal. If you don't give up, just wait to die. Ghost clerk. She blinked and looked at the kneeling ghost mayor with a pair of blue eyes rather strangely. It seems to be saying, weren't you quite proud just now? It's so quick. Ghost mayor. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, ignoring the secretary's weird expression. Then he said sincerely, Your Highness, if you have any use for me, I will not hesitate to do so. See this scene. Shen Jian raised his eyebrows. I don't think it's strange either. As the saying goes, as long as you have the ability to open the windows and remove the roof first, others will naturally be willing to compromise. Immediately, Shen Jian returns to the castle. In the reception room, Shen Jian washed himself and opened the door. I saw the ghost mayor sitting upright, and the ghost secretary Kali Tire who placed a cup of tea in front of him. Don't be nervous. This is your home. There is nothing to be nervous about entering your own home. Shen Jian smiled kindly. The ghost mayor looked up, with a frightened smile on his face. Damn it! You also know that this used to be my home. For those who don't know, I might have thought this was some kind of slaughterhouse. After entering the castle, he saw scenes that could be described as horrifying. For example, on the stairs in the hall, he saw a ghost's hand grasping the railing tightly and refusing to let go. The surrounding floor was full of crawl marks. And with his supernatural power, he immediately deduced this scene. He saw that this ghost had tried to escape from the pursuit of the 4th prince, but when he fled to the stairs near the exit, a hand suddenly emerged from his shadow, grabbed his feet, and dragged him into the void. In the abyss, during this period, he grabbed the railing and tried to climb out, but it didn't work at all. He could only watch his body disappear into the shadow. What kind of desperate scene is this? The ghost's devastated mood was completely transmitted to him. There is also a maid. He hid in a small room and shivered, but the 4th prince was not in a hurry to kill him. Instead, he turned off the lights little by little and suddenly appeared and disappeared in the darkness, scaring the maid to death. He had seen more than a dozen situations like this. And the person who caused all this was the 4th prince in front of him. A devil. Your Highness, if there is anything you need me to do, please just ask and I will definitely do it. The ghost town mayor said tremblingly. The 4th prince, who was not absurd, became even more terrifying. It's nothing big, just help me gather all the residents of the town. I want to unify the southern border. Shen Jian drank tea and said casually. Ghost Mayor? Ghost Clerk? Hear this. Both of them were stunned for a moment. Then he was shocked on the spot. No. Unify the southern border. Isn't this a big deal? Besides, you want to unify the southern border, what does this have to do with gathering the residents of the small town? Do you want to rely on this border town of less than 300 people to occupy the southern border from other lords? Crazy you. For a while, the two opened their mouths and looked at each other, not knowing what to say. The fourth prince has changed and become ambitious, which is a good thing. But if the ambition is too unrealistic, it will only lead to destruction faster. Think of this. The ghost town mayor considered his words and said, Your Highness, the border town is just a 3-star supernatural place. The strongest one is only the ghost king level. The largest lord in the south is the Duke of Elk. He governs 1/3 of the land. In the southern land, other noble forces also stand on the same line as him, especially the Duke of Elk, who is a ghost and god. He also has several ghost-level subordinates under his command. With the size of a small border town, it is really difficult to compete with him. Ghost Clerk Kali Tyre also quickly reminded, That's true, Your Highness, you can make some achievements in a small border town first, take the opportunity to win over a group of nobles, and then go to Duke Elk when you have enough weight. Only by gaining his support can we have the foundation to unify the southern border. Less than 2 years have passed since the king's trial. The eldest prince and the second prince have only obtained the support of the local duke and have the qualifications to unify the land. Although the third prince and daughter have already unified the high seas, they are far away after all. The remote places in the 4 realms are not that advanced in terms of progress, so there is no need for you to be radical at all, Your Highness. The two of you gave me a word, and I gave you a word of advice. Unifying a land, in the past, has basically sealed the victory in the king's trial. Even though this time the royal heir is more capable and it only took less than 2 years to win the support of the local duke, but if you want to truly unifying the land into one realm is still not easy. Although the fourth prince wasted nearly 2 years, after all, there are still more than 3 years before the real evaluation stage. If we rush forward now, we will only lose the last chance. Here. Shen Jian's expression did not change at all. If he is the real fourth prince, then there is no need to worry. But it's a pity. He is not. There was no way he was wasting 3 years on this. Therefore, the only way he could end the king trial ahead of schedule was to eliminate all participants and take over all 4 realms. Certainly. Even so, he would only get the title of crown prince at most. If you want to get Luo Fengtian's authority from the royal family of the Eli Empire, you need to take a step closer. Thinking of this, Shen Jian's eyes were dark. I don't have time. I forgot to tell you that this castle has not only undercover agents installed by the third princess, but also the eldest prince and the second prince. In other words, the other heirs to the throne have already made plans for me after stabilizing the situation. Here, if you take your time, you won't even get the leftovers in your mouth. Shen Jian tapped the desktop. The clear sound was like the ringing of a bell, echoing in their hearts. The two of them fell into deep thought. Don't they know the principle of slow step and slow step? But the fourth prince currently has nothing but a 3-star supernatural land. He has no support from the nobles of the southern territory, has a poor reputation, and does not have any independent help around him. Let alone unifying the southern territory, can he attract the attention of the local earl? It's all a problem. With such a background, how can he compete with other royal heirs? Just thinking about it? Shen Jian took out a gun from his body. It is not a long gun among cold weapons, but a hot weapon firearm in modern society. What's this? The two of them wondered. The Eli Empire has a medieval background. Although human players occasionally enter here, those who can enter the Deep Ghost realm are at least 4-star players or above. For Ghost Masters of this level, firearms have completely lost their effect. Even if players enter the dungeon with firearms, they will not be able to contact any powerful people based on their status in the dungeon. Even if the gun is lost, there won't be any butterfly effect here. Gun. Shen Jian's brief words were horrifying. No hesitation. Pull the trigger. A bullet spit out sparks and shot towards the ghost town mayor. Laugh. Just a moment. The ghost town mayor has an extra hole in his wrist. The power is okay. Shen Jian commented. Ghost mayor? He was confused. Damn it. Are you using me to test weapons? It's such a non-thing, I can be considered yours now. Beat your own people. Looking at his pierced wrist, the ghost mayor gasped. Not to mention, this thing was really painful, and he had actually reacted at that moment, so he chose to pick it up with his hands. Unexpectedly, he was still being stabbed. Punctured. The power of this supernatural thing is indeed impressive. If it were aimed at his head, it might actually kill him. Ghost scribe Kalitair, who was watching the scene the whole time, thought thoughtfully, Your Highness, is this your secret weapon? Right. Shen Jian didn't hide it either. He grinned and said, I can have as many weapons as I want, and they can be even more powerful. Even if it kills the top Ghost King, it is not a problem at all. Do you think 1,000 guns can kill a ghost and god? Where are the 10,000 guns? The hidden mission required him to conquer the city as a lord, but it didn't say that he couldn't contribute in it. If that was the case, he would arm the residents of the border town and give this ancient medieval kingdom some human touch. The shock of modern technology. As a lord, he takes out weapons such as guns and artillery for his people. Is it very reasonable? Hear the words. Their pupils shrank. Everyone was shocked by Shen Jian's words. A supernatural weapon that can kill the top Ghost King? And can it be mass-produced? If there are really 1,000 weapons that are enough to kill the top Ghost King, then killing ghosts and gods is really not a problem. Not to mention one ghost and god, even 10 of them are not enough to kill. Only. Is this really possible? Where did the fourth prince get such a foundation? Shen Jian's big cake made them unable to recover for a long time. It seemed as if he had already seen the scene of bullets being fired across the battlefield. With such power, the fourth prince might really be able to unify the southern territory before other royal heirs, and counterattack to take over. By then, the two of them are ministers of the dragon, and it is only a matter of time before they rise to prominence. The ghost mayor's face became excited. When I looked at the holes on my palms, I just felt that they looked pleasing to the eye. Even the ghost scribe Kalitair looked sideways at this time, and there seemed to be ripples in his blue pupils. She is the second daughter of the Kali family, one of the 4 major holy families in the kingdom. She has attracted much attention since she was a child. However, all her aura is due to her family background, plus her eldest brother, the newly appointed Duke of Kali. Now that she has begun to take charge of the Duke's family, she, the second young lady, is even more mediocre. She also hopes that she can make some achievements. And now, the opportunity seemed just around the corner. If Shen Jian can win the kingship trial and take the position of crown prince, she, the secretary and adjutant, will at least become a marquis in the future, and may even become a new duke. Even if she can't compare to a sacred family with a transcendent status like the Kali family, speaking to her personally, no one in the entire Kali family can compare with her, not even her brother. Think of this. She couldn't hide the strange look on her face. The look he looked at Shen Jian was completely different. Ghost scribe Kalitail. Current status, surprised, shocked, curious. Favorability, add 50, 30 friendly. Shenjian glanced at it. There was already a slight smile in his eyes. The progress is good. Next. It's just mass manufacturing of firearms. And this requires relying on the supernatural power of the wishing ghost. Only the wishing ghost can create modern firearms out of thin air. Certainly. Firearms are not the point. The point is the bullet. Special types of bullets are the key to killing top ghost kings. At this time, the Scarlet panel also rose simultaneously. Side mission, prove yourself, completed. It has been detected that the player's current identity is the fourth prince of the Eli Empire, and the relevant advancement route has been opened. Side mission, obtain the support of any noble. Content, as a prince, the support of the nobles is an indispensable part. Win over a noble and prove yourself again. Task TI.